Hi, and thanks for coming to my channel. Holy smoke, I had a stroke almost exactly 2 years ago, certainly to the day, almost maybe to the hour. Today is Wednesday, January 27th, 2021. 2 years ago now, I was experiencing a mid-cerebral ischemic event or a stroke. And it was terrifying. It's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. The reason I'm doing this video today is if you get one thing from this, don't put off treatment for a stroke. If you think you're having one, or if you think somebody you love, somebody you know, somebody in your office is having one, get them to a hospital. The acronym is FAST, face, arms, speech, time to call 911. So face, facial drooping, arms, inability to control one's arms or difficulty walking, speech, inability to understand speech or inability to formulate speech, or confusion. That's kind of lumped in there. And the T is for time to call 911. FAST, face, arms, speech, time to call 911. So even with COVID, even with all the stuff that's going on in hospitals and so forth, don't put it off. You have about 4 hours to get treatment, and the implications if you don't get treatment in that time are dire. I did not get treated until what would amount to about 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. The stroke I was having started happening. I had my first fall about this time 2 years ago. I'll go into some of the details on that in a later video. But suffice it to say, it was a terrible time. For those of you who have been to this channel before, I've gone through some of the things that I've experienced over the last 2 years. I haven't done one of these videos in a while, and I'll get into that in another video. But the things that are still happening, I still have, it was called central pain syndrome, which is left side skin pain. It's just the nature of how my brain healed from the stroke. And I also can't feel temperature on the left side of my body, which is called thermoception. So I've lost thermoception on the left side of my body. So for example, this nice cold beverage, very cold, feels cold. In this hand, it literally feels like it's on fire, which is very strange. But it's, one of the things that can go wrong if you don't get treatment in 4 hours. Over the last 2 years, about a year in, they've with all the testing and so forth, they figured that I had what's called a cryptogenic stroke. So they basically, at that point, they threw up their arms and said, "We don't know why you had a stroke." And curiously enough, that might be comforting for some people, but for me, it was petrifying. It made me, kind of more afraid of my own body. What happened? Why did I get this stroke? And I began to experience symptoms and implications from post-traumatic stress disorder, or post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD. And that was really pretty interesting, and ended up going through an experimental treatment for PTSD, which involves psychedelics under the supervision of a physician. The treatment is ketamine. Sometimes it's used for the treatment of treatment-resistant depression and PTSD. But I'll go into some of the details on that in a later video. But I just wanted to get back on, I haven't done one of these in a while, and say, if you think you're having a stroke, get to a hospital. If you think somebody you know or somebody you love is having a stroke, definitely seek treatment. If you're interested in checking out my other videos, there's a few others on this channel. Hit like and or subscribe, and there'll be more to come as I go into kind of the details on my treatment for PTSD, which was a result of the stroke, which apparently is more common than I think people understand. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Have a great night, and face, arms, speech, time to call 911.